Welcome to Devorah Leah Torah class, Parshas Shoftim, and we're going to talk about um, the verse says here, Adam ate asada. A person is like the tree of the field. Okay. Now, what does that mean? A person is like a tree of the field. Whoever is okay. A person is a tree of the field. Now, what does that mean? A person is a tree. Literally, a person is a tree. Why compare a person to a tree? Why not? What does that mean? Right? And it's not just random, or not just, I won't say random. It's not just certain aspects. Yeah, there's certain things that a person has, a tree also has. You can't say that because, as we all know, the 15th of Shvat, Tu B'Shvat, make a whole big deal out of it. Rosh Hashanah in our note, and we eat fruits, and we make a whole. I just saying a whole tzimus, a whole deal out of it. Why do we make a whole deal out of it? The 15th of Shvat, to the beginning of the new year of the trees. We're not trees. Who cares? I mean, of course we care, but why? And the answer is yes, because we're like the trees. And since we are a tree, right? So the question is,
how say that part again?
We celebrate the 15th of Shvat in the wintertime, right? Some people even make a Seder, right? Why? I mean, make a whole thing about the 15th of Shvat. Why do you make a whole deal out of it? Why are we celebrating a tree? I mean, it's very nice, but why are we celebrating it?
And because the tree, like the man,
that's
like
right.
The human being has the head and it has the roots. It has the body.
Yeah. So what we're saying here is it's not just certain things that a tree other person also has. It's much more than that. We are trees. And since we are a tree, when it comes to Rosh Hashanah of trees, we celebrate it. Because that's who we are. So the question is, why? Or what? What Jivel just saying, yes. There must be things that we have, that a human being has, which defines us as a human being, is as a tree. And therefore we are a tree, and therefore we can't celebrate the trees. Okay? So, let's second, just getting the right talk here. 1 second. Yeah. All right. So, if you look at a tree, okay, has something unique or special to a tree, which you don't find anywhere else. What is it? One of the things a tree has, no other creation has, which is always connected to its source. Right? It comes from the ground and is connected to the ground. An animal, for example, yeah, they come from the ground, but they're not always connected to the ground. They come from the ground and then they're running around all over the place. Torah says they should come out from the ground. In Bereshit, in the beginning of Genesis, Torah, God describes it, how the animals were created. They came from the ground. A human being too. I mean, you also come from the ground. We're not connected to the ground the whole time. A tree has something special. It's always connected to the ground, connected to its source. Okay. Now, if you have a tzemeach, something that's like a thing that, like as I said, a tree, once you disconnect it, it loses its life. It's not a tree anymore. Once you cut it off on the ground, it becomes a piece of wood. It's not a tree anymore. A tree has to be connected, or something that grows has to be connected to its source. Now, it's different to fish. Even to have the advantage of a fish, if you take a fish out of the water, it dies. It has to always connect to the water, but it doesn't have to get to this part of the water. You can take it out of the water and put it into a sea. You can move from one place to another. Right? You can take fish, you take a big container of water, take it out with the water, and you can toss it into a sea. Right? I mean, you have here all these in Michigan, right? The Michigan lakes, all these species are endangering other species, right? They're coming in and they're killing many other fish, and it's a big problem. They come from one part of the world, you're into another part of the world, and then they go into fish, and then they endanger all these things, right? I don't know call it. I don't know what type, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So so you can uproot a fish to another place, but a tree has to be connected to the ground the whole time, right? Has to be always connected. Okay. No, we'll learn later on. Actually, you can uproot a tree and replant it, but that's a different. That's not a common. We'll talk about it later. I just wanted to mention that point. You might have to think about it. Okay, now, something a tree has an advantage even over vegetables. Gardens also advantage. I know I have him. It comes to the summertime or springtime, whatever, and then you start planting your gardens, your tomatoes or whatever, your peppers or whatever it may be. And then how long does it last for? It lasts for the summer season. And now already not now in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be over. Right? You throw out all your plants, it's dead, finished, it's done, and then next year you're gonna start planting again. It doesn't survive a whole year, it doesn't survive the winter. Right? Weather changes, these plants have to go. Or it doesn't exist, it doesn't survive. A tree, on the other hand, a tree has this advantage that it can survive through all seasons. Right? I'm not saying it doesn't give fruit the whole year, but it survives it. It's connected to its source in such a matter, it's connected to its roots. The roots connected to the ground where it comes from, so strong that even if the whole different seasons go by, the tree stays a tree. It's still connected to its source, and it's connected so strong that it can survive everything, survive all weathers. Okay. So now, what is this? What is this now? Everything we learn in Torah has an effect, or has to not only affect, has to somehow relate to us personally, our personal life. Everything that we learn, or everything that we discuss, learn, or talk about, we see. How does that relate to me? Okay, where do we see that in my day-to-day life? Okay, it's not just out there; it's in there. And in a person himself, a person has also a tree. You have it says as the world is the person's a small world. Everything you have in the big world out there, the large world, you also have in a person. It's a small world. So in a person, you also have those four elements. Okay, there's domain, which is inanimate, things that don't grow, like stone, earth, don't move, you stay the same. Right? There's sameach, which is things that grow, vegetable, they call it. And there's doimem, chai, an animal, right? A living animal. And then medaba, a person that can speak. Advantage that we have over animals, we have idea of now we can speak, we can talk, we can communicate. So in a person, you also have these levels. You have the animal part of a person, you have the sameach, the vegetable part of a person, you have the chaya, the animal part of the person, and you have the personal part of the person, right? So, what is it in our what's in our right? What is it? How do we see it by us? We see it by us by a person. What part of us is the vegetable part? Is the midos, the inanimate, the feelings, right? The way your character. Okay, that level is the like the sameach, the thing that grows, the tree part of the person. Okay, what you're going to compare to the chai, the animal part of the person, the moving part. What's an animal do? It moves from one place to the other. That's how they have seichel, intelligence. Okay, one day you can think this, the next day you can think something else. You can move your mind to think about many things, right? Your intelligence. You can one day want to understand a page of Talmud. You can use your mind to understand a piece of math. You can use your mind to understand anything, right? Your mind can jump from one thing to the other. You can study this, study that, study the other. It's always can always move around. What idea of midos? Idea of feelings. Okay? Idea of character, feeling, characters. Right? What is it? It's a character of that's who the person is. You are you when you say what's a person, the person is defined by his character, right? You don't really, I mean, it's not only his knowledge, the nature of a person, especially when you go to shidduchim, when you want to, you want to know your daughter, your son, whatever, you want to marry a guy or a girl, whatever it is. What type of person is he or she? Right? What's the character? Who is the person? What type of midos? What type of character, behavior, right? Does that person have? So the midos really define the person. The midos, the feelings, the character. What's the feeling? I think better was probably character. That is the tree of the person, right? That defines who you are. So, okay. So an idea of chesed, let's say, your midos, yeah, you feel your character stays the same. You have a chesed, certain state, it can just extend, it can grow. Okay, you can be kind, you have this caring character. So when you're a little child, you'll be giving your friend the candies or lending a pencil to your friend, to another kid in the classroom or whatever, invite a kid over, lend him your ball. And you get older, you lend him the car. Or I don't know, invite him to your house. And you get even older, you give the guy the kindness, it can just grow, right? The character, the nature of that person has as a child, and then as he grows up, his character can grow with him. But it's the same character, it's just growing. And unfortunately, vice versa, being nasty. A kid can be nasty in a small sense, right? And who knows what a person could do when he gets older. I won't let you sit next to me in the bus. Or I don't know, and the kid will let him sit next to him in the dining room, in the classroom. And he gets older, he can kick someone out of the house. Literally, throw a guy, get evict someone. I don't know what they can do. What a nature. So the characters can grow, right? Grows with a person. That's who you are. That defines a person, his character. So we're comparing a person to a tree is not just, has certain characters as a tree. He is a tree. He grows as a tree. He's nature, that which is the sameach, the vegetable part of the person, that defines who the person really is. So, okay. Now, don't get me wrong here. You could overcome your midos. Let's say someone has a bad character. He can overcome his character. Right? Let's say, unfortunately, a person has a certain nature, he's a nasty person. Not a nice person. He has this nature to be nasty. Does that mean he's dumb? It can mean he can never. No. He has the ability to uproot. Just like a tree, as I mentioned earlier, you can take the tree, okay? You have a tree, and then certain part of the yard, you go, that's not a good part. I want it to go somewhere else. It doesn't not grow, it doesn't have enough sun here. No shade. I want a different part. You can uproot the tree and replant it and somewhere else, and it grows better. So you do have this option. It's just not the norm. Okay, there is this option or ability associated to uproot the tree and move on. So there is ability to actually uproot your character and change it. Yes, it's not so easy. Whereas your mind, okay, the seichel, you can jump from here to the other. It's you don't need extra great effort, right? I'm studying now, we're studying a talk, or we're learning now. After the class, you can study something else. You don't need, it's not like uprooting a tree and moving it somewhere else. Uprooting a tree needs much, much more effort and harder work. So when you're talking about yourself and your own character, it's much harder to change your nature than to change your mind from one subject to another subject. I mean, you talk about kids in school, okay? Now they just started school. They have, what are they learning? Okay, math. And then the next class is history, and then English, And then, so that you see, your mind is changing from one subject to the other. But your character, you can't, you can't. It's not easy to change your character 10 times in one day. I mean, a lot of work. It's possible, but it's much, much more difficult. Much more. Okay. So, now, we get it. So when a person, what's the purpose of a person? A person has to take his character, right, and actually utilize in a proper way, because the midos, the character, shows on the essence of the person, the inner person, the character that he has, right, and so how the person has to use his mind to direct his character in the right sense. Right, you have to take your mind and say, my mind is going to control my character, and I'm going to make sure the character is guided in the proper matter. Like this week's parsha, actually, is Parshas Shoftim, judges. Right, you have to appoint judges in your city, every city and state. Now today how's today we don't have that option. We don't have the Jewish judges everywhere. What's the idea of putting a judge? A judge is within oneself. A person has to mind. He has to be the judge of my own self. Am I supposed to look at that? Am I not supposed to look at that? Am I supposed to say that? Am I not supposed to say that? You be your own judge. Am I supposed to look at this or not supposed to look at this? Right? So your character can be according to your mind. The Bible says the man has to be a tree of the land. In other words, you have to take your person part of yourself and judge your tree and make sure your tree goes in the right. Is like you say, you want a tree to grow, you have to really treat it. As Jubel knows very well about this, right? Planting trees in your backyard, all the trees that you have, when they grow, you have to make sure it's growing properly, right? And they grow, you have to I see here a lot of times when trees are growing, there's a piece of wood next to it to make sure it goes straight, right? You have to guide your character in the right direction. That's our job. So when's a person complete? When is a person complete? When his midos are directed in the proper manner. That's what a person needs to do. Take his midos, take his character, and put it. It should be the character of the person, of him. He should direct himself in the right matter. Now, you look at it interestingly. Where do we find this concept more in a practical sense, or in Torah? It says it by the blessings of Bilam, the wicked Bilam, who wanted to curse the Jewish people, and God made him bless the Jewish people. What did he say? He says, he said, I see them. What does that mean? I can see them from rocks. Rashi explains that means that the Jewish people are founded. What's our foundation? The forefathers, Avraham, Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. That's our roots. That's who we're based on. If you see a tree, if it wants to grow strong, as we all very well know, the tree goes up from the ground. It also grows deep in the ground. So if you want to have a strong tree, you have to have strong roots. A lot of times when trees fall down, the reason why they fall down is because the roots are not strong. If the roots are not strong, a wind comes and the whole tree can fall down. Right? You need the strong roots. Who's our roots? Avraham, Yitzchack, Yaakov. What does Avraham, Yitzchack, Yaakov represent? Avraham is idea of love to Hashem. Right? Avraham was called a lover. Avraham loved God. He's a nature of chesed, kindness. The character of kind. Yitzchak is more severity, Devorah. Yaakov is mercy, right? So these are the midos that a Jew has, is based on our forefathers.
Which midot is mercy?
Tiferes.
Okay. I thought that was beauty.
It's also right, but it's also mercy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like a combination. I'll tell you why. Because chesed is kindness. To everyone, no difference who. Gevurah, severity, who also means anyone who to. Rachamim is like combination. This guy doesn't. This guy doesn't really deserve it. He doesn't deserve the kindness, but I'm gonna be anyway. You could take in consideration that this person, and you can realize he doesn't really deserve it. But since I'll give him. So you have the merciful one is idea of Yaakov. Okay, now when we say we have inheritance from Avraham through Yaakov, right? We have. Why do we choose their characters? Why don't we choose the other level? Like it's Avraham was so smart. It's called Sechanem. Avraham had such a great level of intelligence. Why don't we say why are we utilizing or we're saying our heritage is from the characters of the forefathers? Why don't we say that our inheritance is from the intelligence of our forefathers? And the answer is no, because that's the idea of a tree. A tree is the midos, is the character of the and we get it from our Yaakov. This and Jacob, we get our characters from there. That's that's what we are. We have to utilize our character grow in the proper way, and that defines who we are. So now, we got right, almost done. Okay, so what's this? What do we take from all this? There is two types of people here. Okay, there are some people who study Torah scholars, and are those people who are not Torah scholars. So, so a person who's a Torah scholar, and then later on he goes out to business, whatever he does, he's not studying yeshiva his whole life. What does he have to feel about himself? Was I a person who once studied in yeshiva? Was I once a person who once was a no? You have to feel that I am a Torah. I am a Torah person. That's who I am. That's my foundation. He has to feel that with him even when he leaves the yeshiva. He has to have this feeling with him that he's always a Torah person. That's who he is. And then so even when someone is studying Torah, or now we're studying Torah, a person has to realize that it's not just I'm connected to Torah only when I'm studying Torah. There is this feeling, this way of belief there, that they have this idea that when you study Torah, then you're a Jew. But when I go out to the world, I'm a businessman. I'm not Jewish. I don't have to act like a Jew. Yeah, when I study Torah, then I'm in shul, in synagogue. Then I act like I'm supposed to act in a synagogue. When I'm in Torah study, I act like I'm supposed to study Torah. But when I'm out there, I'm out there. Don't mix the two. And that's not the approach. A Jew is wherever he is. So he studies Torah. He has to realize that this Torah has to affect me wherever I am. When you're studying, when you're not studying, this person you can look at him in the street. Oh, he has business. This is the guy who's a Torah person. He has a Torah class once a week. He has a Torah class every day. He is a Torah class. He's a Torah person. The Torah has to affect him. It's not like you say, the famous saying, how much did you study? I study this amount of Talmud, this amount of whatever. Okay, this is a whole bunch of stuff this person studies. Then the question comes, you study that. How much did that teach you? How much of the Torah that you studied has affected you? And that's what a person has to realize. When you study Torah, it has to affect us when we're out there. That you can see this person is a Torah person in his character. When he's out there, you can see that he's someone who it should be affected and felt by himself and then affect others. Others people shouldn't even realize it. This is a person studying Torah. All right. I hope you enjoy this class. Quite interesting topic. And please God, continue next week. All the best, everybody.
Hey, Zalman.
Yes.
So I was in a class and the Rebbitzin was talking about She was in Spot, and there was this olive tree, and it was like 4,000 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Huge. And that's the other thing, too, is that